Battle time. Should have stayed away, one of the monsters says. We need to see what's through that door, you say, as the four of you draw your weapons. Battle time. Oh! We back off for now, says one of the monsters. They flee. Left standing alone, the iron figure says in a soft voice, "You've done so well. You may proceed." Legol is attempting to appear calm, but you notice beads of sweat running down his face. The figure's voice was certainly unsettling, but it didn't seem that unsettling. Polka looks at the rest of you and gives a deep bow of his head. "I'm so sorry to have dragged you all into this," he mutters, his voice barely audible. Beyond the door, there is a lone woman. Polka gasps at the sight of her. "Mom!" Polka shouts. He tries to run over to the woman. Legol holds out an arm. "No, don't." You watch the monsters take the woman away, and Polka lets out an agonized, "Mom!" Battle time. The iron box is rusted here and there, but is notably free of dust. Maybe someone has been taking care of it. Battle time. Get him. Battle time. You pick up the small object, and for a brief moment, a detailed image of happy-looking monsters is displayed on it. A moment later, it vanishes. What sort of device is this? The image of Polka's mother is displayed on the metal box. The box crackles and gives off an odd glow, but no longer shows Polka's mother. Get up. A masterful... The monster pouts. I've got these amazing wings. I don't belong in this dingy place. I want to fly in the sky. The image of Polka's mother is displayed on the metal box. To battle. The monster mumbles, "What I wouldn't give to take another drive up the coastline." Get him. To battle. Battle time. The image of Polka's mother is displayed on the metal box. Battle time. Get him! Polka's mother stands waiting for you, surrounded by monsters. In the midst of the confusion, you direct a question at the woman, who seems to be Polka's mother. Visibly trembling, Polka forces a few words out. Mom, why? Mizar laughs gently, and then claims she will show you something good as a reward for making it all this way. She explains that this building was once a facility called a movie theater. The humans of old would come here to enjoy watching movies, fictionalized moving pictures that other people had made. However, Mizar says with a smile, what I'm about to show you is no fiction. It is the true story of our world's monsters. Now that you're seated, we'll begin the screening, Mizar says. She then activates the movie device. Once upon a time, there was a village in which humans dwelled. Terrible beasts called aberrants had descended upon this village. Amidst the chaos of fleeing inhabitants, a lone man fought back against the fiends. To battle! The man succeeded in fighting off the aberrants, but still he lamented that he was unable to save more people. Looking at the rows of dwellings and shops, the man became determined to save the people who lived here, no matter the cost. One of the children cries out, "I'm so hungry, my stomach hurts." In this era, climate change had pushed the world to the brink of a major food crisis. This in turn caused skirmishes and outright war to break out all over. The girl sobs, "Mom, Dad, where'd you go?" The man knew that he could not stand by and let things continue as they were. And so he decided that he would work with the villagers to come up with a solution while time yet remained. "When will all the fighting end?" cries the old man, his voice breaking with indignation. In this era, the fires of war had spread across the world, and into that raging conflict came biological weapons, the aberrants. Their incredible power was meant to bring an end to the long years of bloodshed, and yet, in the disarray of war, the means to control these weapons was lost. Now, unable to be controlled, the aberrants went berserk and ultimately became an existential threat to humanity. A throng of people has gathered at the assembly hall. Persuaded by the man, the villagers decided to turn to a last resort. They would turn to genetic modification in order to give themselves the strength to fight back against the aberrants. And while those whose bodies were altered in this way would have strength enough to rival the aberrants, their appearance would be totally and irrevocably changed. But the people were determined to do this, to secure a future free from the aberrant terror. Women, children, and the elderly were sent away to a place of safety. Then, hands trembling, each of the remaining villagers accepted a drug from the man who had proposed the plan. And every single one of them was transformed into a monster. Monsters are humans who evolved to protect others? Polka is quivering like a leaf in the wind. Mizar smiles her gentle smile once more. Very good. The monster mumbles a few forlorn words. "We are human, same as you." He explains that it has been a long time since they last spoke to a human other than Mother, and themselves, he quickly amends. With an air of self-mockery, he adds, "Sometimes I forget." Voice filled with resentment, the monster says, "We are human. Why did the others treat us so badly?" He goes on to explain that as the aberrant threat receded, those who had transformed faced persecution at the hands of the surviving humans. Each day brought with it a new indignity. At length, they were driven into this cold, remote place where the mere act of survival was a bitter struggle. They saved humanity. Their reward? Slaughtered by the people they risked everything for, sneers Mizar. There is something wrong with this world. You agree, don't you, Legol? Mizar says, fixing her gaze upon him. Legol hangs his head as though all strength has left him. Legol says nothing. Instead, Mizar speaks up. You're utterly hopeless, Legol. She beckons you forth. Come this way. You follow Mizar into a small chamber, about which drifts a strange ambiance. She explains that it is in this laboratory she conducts research on the mutagen that transforms humans into monsters. Her goal, she continues, is to mutate all of humanity into monsters, and in doing so make the world a truly equal place. The four of you are at a loss for words. Even Trollis, normally full of bubbly curiosity, is silent. Trollis seems utterly perplexed, listening intently to see how the rest of you react. Legol is as quiet as the grave. His eyes are fixed on the ground. Seeing you checking on him, Mizar says, Legol was a test subject for the mutagen. We never should have come here. Legol's voice is a sickening rasp, as though he is coughing up blood. Perhaps the traumatic experience of being experimented on explains the unusual way Legol has behaved since you arrived in New Terra. Polka has been silent since you entered the room. When he finally speaks, his words are low and his mouth barely moves. A moment later, the dam bursts. I thought monsters killed him. How could you not hate them for that? Mizar gives a weak laugh. Because the one who used a monster to kill your father was me. Mizar answers as if her reply is the most natural thing in the world. He was beyond hope. He was trying to burn all our research. Monsters are our saviors. They protected our world, and yet they were persecuted and driven to the fringes. I will never accept inequity of this scale. And that's why I will transform all of humanity into monsters. That is true justice. And your father stood in the way of it. So he had to die. Don't you agree, Polka? Polka is overcome. His jaw works soundlessly for a few minutes. Finally, he manages a feeble, so this is the truth. The light has gone from his eyes. Suddenly, Mizar cuts through the quiet with a loud clap. It is nearly time. In the next instant, her monsters show up and attack. Your enemies are monsters, but also former humans. And all of the monsters you have been using were once human too. The reality that everyone here is human washes over you. Your hands start to tremble, and you can't bring yourself to fight. Polka is overcome with shock. Legol, trembling, seems somehow smaller. Both of them have completely lost the will to fight. Trollis alone seems to have it together. "Come on, we can do this," she shouts, desperately trying to encourage her friends. The monsters begin storing up power and then unleash it at you and your friends. Trollis fights desperately to protect you and your friends and manages to keep the worst of the monster attacks from finding their mark. Mizar's sonorous proclamation echoes out, just as the ruins begin to collapse. You have to put a stop to Mizar's invasion. Somehow, you manage to force your leaden legs to move, and you take off after her. The merchant appears before you and speaks with great enthusiasm. He explains that he and his market were caught up in the earthquake while exploring New Terra in search of valuable goods. That said, he adds with a little bounce of delight and eyes aglimmer, this place seems absolutely stuffed to the gills with valuable pieces. His indomitable dedication to business lifts your spirits, and you can't help but crack a little smile. The merchant flashes you a bright, cheery smile. I'll spare no efforts for you, my most favorite of customers. The fiercest battle you've ever faced awaits. You'll need to be suitably prepared.